Good morning. Moving on further through the chapter, we will now today study the condition of industries on the eve of independence. Now, industrial development is necessary for each and every country. Industries provide opportunities of employment and therefore economic growth. So, industrial development is must for any country. But India was under the colonial rule of the British Empire, and hence industrial development was not paid heed by the Britishers. Now, on the eve of independence, the industries or the industrial sector presented the following picture. First of all, there was the presence of discriminatory tariff policy. Now, tariff, as you all know, means taxes. Discriminatory tariff policy means that the Britishers had different tax policy for the Indian goods as well as and the British goods. The goods produced by the British industries were exempted from taxes and hence sold at a very low price in the Indian market. Apart from this, the Indian goods produced were put heavy taxes on these goods and they were sold at a high price in the domestic market itself. So the people liked to buy goods which were cheaper, that is, the British produced industrial goods which were cheap. So the domestic goods, the demand declined, and hence the industries or the domestic industries declined. So this differential tariff policy or tax policy hurt the Indian industries. The next is competition from machine-made goods. The Indian goods were basically produced in cottage or small-scale industries. They were not made by big machines, and hence they could not be produced on a large scale, and they could not match the fineness of the goods made by big machines or automated machines of the Britishers. Hence, these goods which were produced by the Britishers and exempted from taxes in the Indian market were liked by the people and were in great demand. Now, next problem that the industries faced was the bleak growth of industry in India, that is, very low growth of industry in India. The Britishers did not pay any heed to the industrial development in India because they were interested in the growth of industries in Britain. So they took away the raw materials and Indian industries remained very backward. They did not prosper in the absence of any encouragement and raw materials. Also, the Britishers set up industries of their own choice which were demanded by them. Then the disappearance of the princely courts. The princely courts in India patronized these handicraft goods and some of the artisans who produced these goods. Hence, these industries found encouragement in the princely courts and hence they prospered. But with the oncome of the British rule, the princely courts disappeared and hence the industries declined. Then lopsided industrial growth. Whatever the industries the Britishers set up were not balanced. There were no capital good industries. A few consumer goods industries were set up by the Britishers. So this is the overall picture of the industrial growth or the industrial sector at the time of independence. Now this made India a backward economy because absence of industries hurts growth process of the economy. Coming further to the next feature is foreign trade on the eve of independence. Now, foreign trade is an important foreign exchange earner for any economy, and hence it is important. But here we have the first problem, that the control of trade was by the British government. So the Indian trade was controlled by the British government and not the Indians. So whatever trade was done was under the British control. Second important problem is that India was basically an exporter of primary products or the raw materials and importers of the finished goods. So the export consisted of primary products or the raw materials that were sent to the British Empire, and import consisted of the finished products that were produced by the Britain industries. So we were exporter of primary products, which shows that we were a backward economy. Now, the third important point is that this surplus trade benefits were shared or were used by the British government. It is also known as drain of Indian wealth. It means that the surplus which India earned in trade was with the British government, was earned by the British government. Its advantage went to the British government in the way of paying salaries and using these wealth in the war expenses that were fought by Britain. Hope you have followed these. We will deal with the next problems in our next class. Thank you.